Bagram Airfield, the biggest military base of United States in Afghanistan. The war for US troops was full of difficulties. This is why the US troops tried hardly to build the military bases in different provinces of Afghanistan. There are two biggest military bases in Afghanistan, Bagram Airfield and Shorabak, located in Helmand province. Each of these military bases needs separate definition. Bagram Airfield, also known as Bagram Air Base, is located 11 kilometers southeast of Charikar in the Parwan Province of Afghanistan, sitting on the site of the ancient Bagram at an elevation of 4,895 feet above sea level. The airbase has two concrete runways. The main one measures 11,819 by 151 feet, capable of handling large military aircraft, including the Lockheed Martin C-5 Galaxy. The second runway measures 9,687 by 85 feet. The airbase also has at least three large hangars, a control tower, numerous support buildings, and various housing areas. There are also more than 13 hectares of ramp space and 5 aircraft dispersal areas with over 110 revetments. Bagram Air Base was formerly the largest US military base in Afghanistan, staffed by the 455th Air Expeditionary Wing of the US Air Force, along with rotating units of the US and coalition forces. It was expanded and modernized by the Americans. There is also a hospital with 50 beds, 3 operating theaters, and a modern dental clinic. Kabul International Airport is located approximately 40 kilometers south of Bagram, connected by 2 separate roads. On 15 August 2021, the entire base fell to Taliban forces after the NATO-trained Afghan army had surrendered and left the base. All prisoners at the Parwan detention facility were released, and an unknown drone struck 3 times on the prisoners that killed more than 100 prisoners. The International Committee of the Red Cross had revealed that since August 2009 it was informed about inmates of a second prison where detainees are held in isolation and without access to the International Red Cross that is usually granted to all prisoners. The existence of a second prison was denied by US authorities. Bagram Airfield was originally built by the Soviet Union in 1950s during the early period of the Cold War, at a time when the United States and the neighboring Soviet Union were spreading political influence in Afghanistan. While the United States was focusing on Afghanistan, the Soviets were strengthening ties with Fidel Castro's regime in Cuba. In 1959, a year after Afghan Prime Minister Daud Khan toured the United States, US President Dwight Eisenhower landed at Bagram Airfield, where he was greeted by King Zahir Shah and Daud Khan, among other Afghan officials. The original runway, 10,000 feet long, was built in 1976. The airport at Bagram was maintained by the Afghan Air Force with some support from the United States. During the 1980s Soviet-Afghan War, it played a key role, serving as a hub for Soviet military operations and a base for its troops and supplies. Bagram was also the initial staging point for the invading Soviet forces at the beginning of the conflict, with elements of 2 Soviet airborne troops divisions being deployed there. Aircraft based at Bagram, including the 368th Assault Aviation Regiment flying Su-25s, provided close air support for Soviet and Afghan troops in the field. The 368th Assault Aviation Regiment was stationed at Bagram from October 1986 to November 1987. Some of the Soviet land forces based at Bagram included the 108th Motor Rifle Division and the 345th Independent Guards Airborne Regiment of the 105th Guards Airborne Division. Following the withdrawal of the Soviet forces and the rise of the Mujahideen group, Afghanistan plunged into civil war. Many of its support buildings and base housing built by the Soviet armed forces during their occupation were destroyed by years of fighting between various varying Afghan factions after the Soviets left.